Hello, welcome to FireCast. This is a filler episode. This will be my fourth filler ever on FireCast, I believe. You listen to this because we're very busy, alright? It's a busy time of the year. My brother's getting married. Friendly Fire's having a wedding, so it's busy. We're busy, alright? Joey's been busy a lot lately. It's the end of the year. Everyone's crazy. So we need some fillers, alright? And I'm here doing my part because the other boys, I think Friendly Fire's doing one. Joey was supposed to do some. I don't know. It's hard, okay? But it's easy for me to be here in my wardrobe doing it, so I'm doing it alone. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Okay, I'm a lot less organized than my other fillers. I have nothing prepared. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to chop it up with you guys for a little bit. Hopefully about 40-50 minutes. Who knows, man? Who knows? Yes, welcome to the show. Got a little glass of whiskey. My partner, my beautiful girlfriend, thinks I drink too much. I don't think I drink too much. I think I buy myself a 6-pack every week. I get a 6-pack of beers, usually on a Friday arvo, and I'll drink a 6-pack. I have 3 beers on one day and 3 beers another day, or 2 beers, 6-pack a week, if that. It's not always, if that. I don't think that's too much. She thinks it's too much. I don't know. Let me know. Is that too much? I don't know. I feel fine. I feel great. How are you? I hope you're great. In my wardrobe again. This might be the second time you hear from me by myself in a short succession. So I hope you enjoy this. If not, I'm sorry. Too bad. Skip it. Whatever. But life is crazy. I'm in a weird place. Not necessarily a bad place, just a very transformative place, perhaps. I I'm trying to apply all the spiritual shit you heard me talking about my very first filler. I'm also trying to make money, trying to be a good father and partner, trying to do the right thing, and it's hard. I'm also trying to make music and do this, which honestly is the most difficult part. The hardest part is this, trying to fit this and the music into my life with everything else going on is the hardest part. I struggle to find time. I struggle to spend as much time as I would like with my family and my daughter, but I'm also the kind of guy that needs to work, that loves to grind. I'm a workaholic, but I hate working a 9 to 5. I hate working for someone else. But if it's something I enjoy and it's something I want to do, I could be working 24/7. Which is what this is for us, okay? The podcast, the music, it's unpaid work, essentially, okay? We're doing this stuff for you guys. People seem to enjoy it. The podcast has been doing great lately, which is good. My music has been steady, but like I said, coming into the end of the year, I'm slacking a little bit, alright? I'm working on City to City 2 still. I'm still waiting on verses. I'm like 3/4 of the way finished, I would say, with this track as of recording. When you're listening to this, I don't know. It might be out by now. It might have a release date. Or I might be still fucking waiting. Alright? I don't know. There's been months I've been waiting on this track. Trying to work with people is a nightmare. Especially new people. But it is what it is, alright? It's coming along. Other than that, I'm not really doing much of music. I don't even know if people do you like my music? What's going on? Do people listen to it? I don't know. Do you care? I don't know. I don't know if I care anymore. Honestly, I'm in a place in my life where I don't know what I want to do. I know a lot of you might feel the same, so I hope this resonates or someone can relate, because I don't know what I want to do with my life. When I think about it, if I were to pick a career path for me that didn't involve being in the entertainment industry, if it didn't involve music or podcasting or something, I don't know what I like. I don't know what I want to do. My girlfriend says this all the time. I don't make up my mind. I don't make choices. I'm not good with choices. I'm not good at setting things and sticking to it. You know what I mean? Like, this is all I want to do, really. But I'm at a point where I need to make more money. Okay? It's hard. It's busy. There's things going on. I'm a father. Our daughter starts school soon. And I don't want to be doing what I'm doing now forever. So, like, what would I do? You know? And it's not easy, you know? And yeah, I wouldn't even say it gets me down, because I'm pretty happy. You know, life's good. But you know, it's hard to make up your mind sometimes. I'm just trying an example. Right, if you listen to episode 110, which was my first ever solo, I was talking a lot about Buddhist monks and spirituality and all that shit. Just before today, I've been having these thoughts of just trying to let go. Letting go is such an important part about being spiritually in tune. It's probably the most important part, I would say. You cannot be bothered by inconveniences in your life. You have to try not to be emotional and react to things you can't control. Are you going to make a difference? Can you do something about it? Are you going to do something about it? If not, then why are you worrying? Why are you stressing? There's no point worrying about Kim Jong-un launching a missile at New South Wales, or fucking what Trump's doing, or whatever, or COVID vaccines, or whatever the hell. You know, are you going to do something about it? Are you going to do something about it? If not, then shut the fuck up. Okay? Put on your game face and get moving. And that's what I've been trying to do. And it's a lot easier said than done. Definitely. And there's good days and bad days. But just before, I was having these thoughts. And just as I was getting ready to do this podcast, last time I did this, it was such a mission. The setup took ages. Nothing was working. Things were collapsing. My technology wasn't working. You know, it was a nightmare. But then today I was having those thoughts about letting go and being, you know, present, spiritually aware. And I just didn't have a care. I was like, you know what? Whatever. I don't care what happens right now. Let's just try, give this a crack, see what happens. Open my laptop, and it's popping up with an error. It's saying can't load profile. I'm like, alright, what the fuck? Who cares? I was like, you know what? Whatever. If my laptop's busted right now, it's busted. What am I going to do? Eventually, it loads the profile and everything's blank. My files are wiped. All my music's gone. City to City 2 is gone. Everything's gone. And I was just like, oh well, you know, fuck it. It is what it is. If this shit is gone, it's gone. What am I going to do, you know? I'll get it sorted and move on. And of course, as soon as, you know, that happened, it resolved itself. It was an easy solution, and everything's back. And the whole setup was easy. Everything went smooth, you know. It was perfect. No problem, no hassle. I've been set up and ready in 5 minutes. So I feel like your attitude and the way you look at life has a big impact on your reality. It's all in here, you know. Life is 10% physical and 90% mental. Right? Your life will improve when you start doing this stuff and applying it. And I've noticed it so many times. I was even talking about it in one of these solos. I was talking about golf. And as soon as you apply a little bit of patience and you're trying to drive, if you take it slow and breathe, Instead of trying to smack the ball, if you just take it slow, smooth motion, the ball goes exactly where you want it to go, much further. Life is like that, alright? It's, the waves get a lot calmer when you stop trying to rock the boat so much. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at, I'm trying to accept my condition, trying to accept my situation, but also trying to improve my situation. So it's a constant dichotomy of not being attached to results and trying to make it in the music entertainment industry. They don't go hand in hand very well. Being spiritual, not caring about fame or popularity or whatever, is like a complete 360, 180 of what spirituality is all about, because you need likes, you need media attention to get anywhere with this shit, But anyway, still moving. I love doing this. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you like listening to me. I hope you like listening to the show and all that shit, the music. But I've been playing some games for the first time lately. I mentioned it on the podcast a couple times, but I've been playing the new Sonic racing game on my PlayStation 5. And it's the first time I've played a game properly in a long time. I played Planet Zoo for a little bit when it came out, but the Sonic game was the first game I was actually keen to play before it came out, and then when it came out I bought it straight away. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. But it just reminded me about Nintendo, because I'm a Nintendo fan, alright? As much as I hate to admit it, I like Nintendo games, okay? I like Nintendo characters. Sue me, alright? I grew up with it. I'm connected to it for some reason. I enjoy it, alright? It's cool. I just fuck with it, alright? But I have... Nintendo have this thing where, like, their games are arse most of the time. The games are shit. They suck. Alright? And they don't change it because people keep buying the shit. And I'm part of the problem. This new Pokemon game, the reason I'm talking about this and bringing it up, this new Pokemon game came out, Pokemon Legends ZA. This game looks like dog shit. It sucks. It looks awful. I'm not even going to play it or bother buying it because it's terrible. And some leaks came out about Nintendo. My cat has ruined the setup. Fuck's sake, Frankie. Look at this fucking guy. Look at him. He's ruined everything. Sorry about that. Okay. What the fuck was I saying? Nintendo, this game came out, alright? This Pokemon game, and it looks fucking shit. And a leak happened with Nintendo saying their budget, right? And normally for a AAA studio, right? Pokemon is the biggest fucking franchise in the world. It's worth billions of fucking dollars, right? And a AAA studio, right? AAA studios are big mainstream games, alright? Like your God of Wars, anything you see on your PlayStation 5, these huge companies, these huge games, right? Call of Duty, GTA. That's called a AAA game, right? Average budget for a AAA game is like $40 million. 30, anything above $30 million. Some of these games go like 400 million, 300 million. Some of them are crazy, right? But anything above $30 million is, decent. And these Nintendo leaks came out, and the budget that they're given for these Pokemon games is like $13 million. $13 million. And it shows. You look at these games, the textures are terrible, everything's like fucking ass. It sucks. And the problem is they're never going to change their ways because people keep buying the shit. me included. If there was a game I was, remotely interested in, I'll buy it, even though the quality isn't up to scratch. For Pokemon to be spending that much on a game that they're going to be making billions of dollars is crazy and stingy, and it's kind of fucked up, But I've been my whole life trying to defend Nintendo all the time because I'm a Nintendo boy, right? So I'm always trying to fucking play devil's advocate for these cunts, and it's just, it's unjustifiable sometimes. But I don't even know, like, why I care, because I don't care that much. I'm not a gamer, alright? I don't have time. I barely play games. I come home, I play like 2 races of this fucking racing game, and that's it. Alright, I don't fucking game that much. Play a little bit of Pokemon Go every now and then, but like that's it, right? I'm a fucking grown man, alright? I don't got time for this shit. But when Grand Theft Auto comes out, I'm gonna have to play it. That's one I'm definitely gonna cop. And there's a few other things, it actually has been a pretty decent year for gaming. I'm very clued in, and I know a lot about games and what's going on in the scene. For someone who doesn't play any fucking games, alright? I know a lot about many of the games, but I don't ever play them. But I'm well researched, So, if anyone knows what the fuck I'm talking about right now, I hope you feel what I'm saying with this fucking Pokemon and budgets and shit like that. It's just fucking mind-blowing, And it makes me think of the future and where we're headed with all this shit, virtual reality, Mark Zuckerberg, VR. It's just, it applies to anything, really. You lose your empathy and greed takes over, and quality suffers, people suffer, and it's just an endless vicious cycle. It's all about the money and the bottom line. These motherfuckers are spending $15 million to make a game that's gonna sell billions. That's crazy. And they don't even care. You look at the polish of the games and they're fucking terrible. Nintendo, man, that shit sucks. But the characters are cool. The stories are cool, Some of the games are great, like Legend of Zelda. They're great games, but man, the graphics, the fucking polish is below average for a company that is worth billions. It's fucking sad. And you can say that about anything, Macca's, whatever, what have you, but it's the same story. No one fucking cares. No one takes pride in what the fuck they're doing. Everyone wants a shortcut to make the most money. Can you blame them? You can't even blame them, because they're products of the society and the rules we've built. It's all about fucking trying to get a leg up on the next motherfucker. But other than that, what else has been happening in my life, man? I've been still going to the gym, still trying to make something of myself. I think it was my second solo, I was talking about my struggles at the gym, and I was struggling to be consistent. Well, I was pretty consistent up until about last week or 2 weeks ago, where I've been slacking again. And I was going every day, without a doubt, and I was doing kind of a bro split. And now I've kind of changed into like a push-pull legs almost, but not really focusing on the push and pull movements, more just chest, shoulders one day, back, arms one day, legs. And I'm supposed to be doing that on a 3-day rotation, because I was doing the bro split thing pretty consistently, and I'm pretty satisfied with my progress, but you're not hitting your muscles enough with that bro split. People say it doesn't work for a reason, because you should really be hitting each muscle group twice in a week, so with the bro split, you hit your chest on Monday, and then you go shoulders, back, legs, arms, what have you. And then by the time you get back to chest, it's already been fucking however long, you know. And it's just not ideal. It works for some people. I've been doing the bro split pretty much my whole training life, you know, so it does work, but it's just, you know, I'm at a point now where I need to change it up, you know. Definitely, I definitely need to make some changes. So I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing. It's just it's hard to get up in the morning, man. It's like you take one day off and it's just downward slope from there. You just sleep in, and the next day it gets a little easier to sleep in, and then the next day is even easier, and then you just fucking fuck this shit and you don't even go. But yeah, so I'm working on that still, working on my eating. Everything's pretty good, you know. As you're listening to this, the last episode of FireCast would have been 179, I believe. And Friendly Fire and I discussed this little scandal, this Papua New Guinea fucking issue we had, right? And I think I should talk about it maybe a little bit more and explain my position a little bit better. There was an episode of FireCast where I made a joke. I said, we were talking about the defence pact between Australia and Papua New Guinea, and I made a joke saying, how is Papua New Guinea gonna defend us, bro? Well, we're gonna have bow and arrows. They're gonna have bow and arrows. It's like the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. Pretty funny, right? I fucking thought it was a great joke. I was pretty proud of it. I didn't think anything of it. I made a clip, put it on TikTok. The clip gets like 1,000 views, and that's it. And it moves on, whatever. Didn't think nothing of it. And then all of a sudden, like fucking weeks after I posted this clip, I get a message from Trozum, who we interviewed on FireCast, and she says, looks like you got yourself in some PR trouble. And she sent me a video of some Papua New Guinea influencer stitching that video and reacting to it, saying, oh, this dickheads, oh, look at this fucking... He says, I'm not even mad what he said about bows and arrows, but he said we look like Ewoks. He's calling us Ewoks. And he shows a picture of an Ewok. And he's like, that's fucking racist, man. And I'm like, dude, I didn't fucking say you look like an Ewok, alright? That's not the joke. That's not funny. Alright? That's not funny. That's just stupid. The joke is, Papua New Guinea is a small... Yes, the joke is a little racist, okay? Because Papua New Guinea is an island, what do you think of when you think of Papua New Guinea? Tribes, don't you? Don't fucking lie to me, alright? Everyone does. Tribe is a tribal island, alright? They have tribes, people, cannibal tribes back in the day, like all the fucking Polynesian Pacific Islands, okay? So the joke is, the army is tiny. Papua New Guinea has an infantry of 6,000 men or something. Tiny army, right? So the joke is, comparing the army to the Ewoks. What do tribes fight with? Bows and arrows. Okay? What do the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi fight with? Bows and arrows, sticks and stones. It's a great joke, alright? I'm comparing the military to the Ewoks. I'm not saying these motherfuckers look like Ewoks. Had nothing to do with your race. And I said that. I replied to the video. I gave a diplomatic answer on the FireCast page and my personal page. I said, look, you know, this is what I meant. I don't mean to offend, whatever. Sorry to people who took it the wrong way, because this is not what I meant. This guy's misconstruing what the fuck I said anyway. But, you know, that only does so much. Got a few likes, my comments. But most people just want to be offended, and they just want to take what they see. It's like I said on the episode, the whole internet is filled with people who have ulterior motives, you know, and they have their own goals and visions and what they're trying to do. And this guy clearly is a political kind of commentary guy, and he used that video to go on a rant about Papua New Guinea and Australia's partnership and visas, something about visas between Papua New Guinea and Australia, and telling Australia to let, you know, so he used that video as a tool to go on a rant about other stuff. And that's what I mean. It's like, does this guy even feel that strongly about the joke, or was it just it suited him for that moment, and he might have been offended by it, but the point I'm making is that you never know what the fucking these people are talking about on the internet. But anyway, these people in the comments, you're right, no matter how well you explain it, they just take it. Some people were saying, oh yeah, sure buddy, whatever, and I'll smack you, I see you, whatever, or yada yada, keyboard warrior stuff. But that's the internet for you, man, and that is the burden of putting yourself out there. That's what we've done. It's too late now. There's no turning back. We're all over the internet forever. It is what it is, alright? It's a funny joke. We make jokes about everybody. And people were seeing this video, this short clip taken out of context, and assuming, people who were commenting, right? They've never watched our show. They have no idea who we are. But they were commenting like this was the only joke we've ever made. And people were saying, why don't they make jokes about this? They wouldn't make jokes about yada yada, make jokes about Australians or Latinos, because I said in our comment that our family are immigrants, right? Because you have to play the race card these days. Everyone wants, it's okay if you're anything but complete white. So people say, why don't you make jokes about Latinos in Australia? I'm like, hello, we do all the time, right? And Friendly Fire was saying in that episode, I texted him and I said, it's funny we're trying to make a case for why we're not racist, and if they at the time had clicked on our profile and clicked on the latest video, the cold open that we put at the start of every podcast for that episode was me pretending to speak Chinese and doing an extremely racist Chinese accent, right? But it's a fucking joke, right? People get upset if you pretend to speak Chinese, but when I pretend to speak French, no one gives a fuck if I pretend to speak French. Okay, parlez-vous, pensez-vous, no one cares. But if you pretend to do Chinese, it's a problem. And that's what I just don't get about these people, right? On our show, we make fun of everybody because it's surface level. It means nothing. But people need to feel important. People need to feel marginalized. And people need to feel like they have an excuse to be an asshole. Or to, combat everyone's against me. It's him versus him and me versus them. It's like society isn't divided by race, gender, or any of that shit. It's divided by stupid people and smart people. And stupid people divide themselves by race and gender and all that stupid shit. Okay? Most people are smart. Most people don't fucking care. Right? Even the people who make these videos probably don't really care. They're not going home and crying and stewing over it. They probably don't care that fucking much. Right? But they make content. It's ammo for their content, And I don't blame them, And yes, we say some unhinged crazy shit sometimes. Especially Joey and Iggy. And that's the funny thing. Like, of all the scandals, I'm the one who gets fucking the first, dragged through the fire first, right? All the things Joey and Iggy have said, that's the one that they decide to fucking get upset about. Come on, dog, like fucking hell. I'm pretty good, I feel like. I try to be, but anyway. Just about the internet, social media, all that shit. I'm a little confused by my presence, right? I used to, when I had less followers, I would post asking for questions for this type of shit. And people would send me. If you look at the first podcast I did by myself, I had a load of questions. Great questions. These days, no matter what I post asking for fucking questions or feedback or whatever the fuck, no one cares. None of these rappers, none of my rapper friends fucking hit me up for features. No one wants to fucking work with me. I don't get it. What's the problem? I don't know what I'm doing wrong or differently to these guys that I see getting buzz or getting more plays or their name thrown around a little more on this underground scene. Like, what the fuck, man? I do all the same shit. I'm just as good, if not better, than most of these dudes. Same with the podcast, man. Like, where are the questions, bro? Anyway, the reason I bring that up is because I was going to originally do some paranormal type questions. It's close to Halloween. I don't know when you're listening to this, so Halloween might have just passed or whatever. But Rose's idea was to do like a paranormal. People love paranormal stories. Get some paranormal stories and ghost stories and shit. And no one fucking sent me any fucking shit anyway, except one. We got one, but I said it on the FireCast. But I will tell my main story. This is, fairly recent. This is definitely by far the most paranormal thing that's happened to me. I've mentioned it on FireCast before, but it was a little while ago. And it was when my partner was living at the last house before the house we live in now together. And I'd be over there all the time. And everyone was saying the house had a little bit of a strange vibe. It was a very nice house. We all loved that house, but a huge house. 2-story, beautiful, modern. But they were saying fucking some shit about, I'm butchering the story. Someone said something about a portal. I think my missus' cousin is like a fucking, I don't know, a wizard or something, and she said that the house sits on a portal or something. Some fucking, I don't know. Alright, I don't know. But anyway, everyone had little hints of strange experiences in there. And this one time, I was at her house, and I went upstairs. Everyone was downstairs, and I went upstairs to grab something. And as I go upstairs to our room, I see like a shadow, like vivid as fuck, go like behind under the bed, like. And I was like, what the fuck was that? To the point where like I started looking under the bed. I'm like, that was something for sure. I just seen something. So I'm looking under the bed, looking like what the fuck that just was. And I couldn't see it. I was like, what the hell? And then I go downstairs and Rose could tell I had a fucking strange expression on my face, like I just seen some shit, and I explained it to her. And then that night, I had the fucking craziest, weirdest dream. Like, if you look up these stories, they're always about a brimmed hat shadow man. These shadow people, dark energy entities, whatever, it manifests itself as a fucking dark shadow with a brim hat. And the dreams I had that night was like, it was my old primary school, but it felt so real and empty though. It was like a liminal space of the street of my old primary school, not inside the school, but like the outside street front area. And there was parked cars and stuff, but it was like empty. I was the only one there, and it was just me and this shadow brimmed figure. And I was like, what the fuck? It was the most surreal thing, and we're having like a duel. I'm forgetting this, it's hazy now, but it was not normal. I didn't really have these dreams either, and I usually don't even have dreams at all that I remember. I usually go to sleep, wake up, and I don't even remember. But these were so vivid and weird and real. It felt like an empty game lobby or something. It was just me in there and this fucking thing. And we're fighting. It was a duel or something, but I fucked it up. I was winning. I remember winning. I was fucking it up. But, yeah, and then I woke up the next day and I was like, alright, we're cleansing the fucking house. Get the Palo Santo, the fucking sage. We're cleaning this motherfucker, because that shit was not normal. And there was a lot of other things at that house too. My memory is terrible, but there was, always weird, crazy things in that house. But we love that house, man. We still got fond memories of that house. I'm pretty sure it was built on like a fucking ancient burial site or something. It must have been, because it was a new modern house. It's not like it was, old and had a lot of history. It was brand new, just built. So I don't know, that part of town is a weird kind of barren, strange part of town. It's like next to a military base or something, not far off or some shit. They used to do military or some, I don't fucking know, but rolling. Alright, this is the second time I'm doing this little intermission, but I had to come back because I finished recording and I got out of there, and Rose said, "You fucked up that ghost story so bad," and she reminded me of all the stories of that black shadow, and I was like, fuck, that's worth me coming back and doing a little cut in. So just to explain it a little better, because like I knew I would, I butchered the whole thing. In that house, that same house where I saw the shadow, my experience was the most recent and the most mild. Everyone else in the house had a similar, much worse experience, honestly, and I'm very grateful it didn't happen to me. But for example, Billy, who is Rose's brother, we actually had him on the podcast a long time ago, but he had an experience where he came downstairs and he saw this black figure on all fours, like crawling like the fucking Ring or something, and he had to like walk around it. It was so vivid. And then Rose's mum would always have these dreams of this black figure pulling her out of the bed, dragging her out of the bed. And one night she was sleeping in her room and she heard like banging and rustling and running up the stairs. She heard it so clearly, run up the stairs, go into her room and bang really hard on her bed. And Rose one time went downstairs, and at the kitchen counter, sitting on the benches, she saw the figure, and she was so scared she didn't want to just turn around and run away because it was too scary to turn her back on it. So she had to like quickly run to the light and turn the light on. And Rose's sister was in the house once when we were away, sitting on Rose's bed, and she heard banging and, you know, moving around at like 2 a.m. and she's like, what the fuck? So she went out and she saw what she thought was Rose's mum standing there, and then she went up. She's like, what's Rose's mum doing? She got close, and she got so close that it like disappeared into mist. So it took the form of their mum and then vanished into mist when she got close. And it all got so bad in that house, basically. And then I had my experience after all that, right? And then it basically got to the point where Rose's mum has a friend who's very spiritual, so she's into all that shit or whatever. She's some kind of, you know, mystical lady. And from wherever she was, she did something, and she could sense and see that there was a portal open in our house. So it wasn't Rose's cousin. It was Rose's mum's friend who could sense that there was a portal, and they were coming, entities, things were coming through for some reason in that exact spot in the house. And she did something to close it. And after she did that, it stopped. So, you know, it just goes to show that this shit, you know, this shit works. Another experience at that house was Rose was alone in the house and she had all the lights on, and she heard a voice, like a man's voice, in her ear yell, turn the lights on. Turn the lights off, because she had all the lights on and shit, right? So yeah, so that's, you know, I fucked up the story, but there you go. Just it was worth me coming back to explain all that, because now it probably sounds a little more compelling compared to what I said. So anyway, yeah, just thought I had that. So yeah, that's the one story I always point to, and, you know, people ask about the paranormal thing. But nothing. Oh, another one actually I just remembered. When I was a kid, I at my family, one of my family's first houses when I first moved to this area. I don't know how old I would have been, but I had see, my memory's hazy. But I had a dream. I can't remember if there was more to this story prior to this part, but as I was going to sleep or something, I heard a woman scream, so vivid and real. Actually, when I was a kid, you know, in that house, I struggled to sleep a lot. I had a lot of fucked up dreams and a lot of fucked up stuff. I couldn't sleep very well, and you never realize it until you're older and you look back in hindsight. But pretty haunted. At the time, I never thought haunted, I guess because you're a kid. But I had to always sleep with the TV on. I'd always have the TV on. I'd be watching every night. It was Mystery Men, the movie with Ben Stiller, the whole fucking superhero movie. Mystery Men, or fucking, you ever go to, or Eddie Murphy comedy specials. I'd have playing shit like that, But I was going to sleep. I was drifting off to sleep, and I heard a woman scream, really vivid and real. And it was so fucked up that the next day I told my family and shit, and my nan, Abuela, came over and did a fucking cleanse or something, and but yeah, that was pretty fucked up. It was I had like a fear of Michael Jackson for some reason when I was that age, so I'd have a lot of scary dreams. Like the thought of Michael Jackson would scare me. And I remember one time I was going to sleep and we had a cat named Elvis, which is ironic, right? Michael Jackson, Elvis. But anyway, this fucking cat jumped on my bed, on the foot of my bed, and I shit myself. I don't know if I thought it was Michael Jackson, but I was so scared from this fucking cat. It would always come in my room and jump on the bed. Frankie, the cat you saw before, was too fat. He doesn't jump on the bed. He doesn't like cuddles and nothing. He's like the least affectionate cat, which I actually like. I like a cat for the cuddles. You want to cuddle a cat, but this guy, he fucking doesn't want a bar of it. But anyway, yeah. So that was another time the cat used to jump on my bed and scare me. And there was another time, another moment I'll never forget in that house, when I was a kid and I was sleeping, and I felt something crawling on my arm, and I woke up and I flung my arm, and it was a big ass fucking roach, and hit the wall and fell down to the side of the bed. And I was pretty mortified from that, which I have, not as an adult, this has subsided, but up until maybe 6 years ago, I had a little bit of a fear of cockroaches. I didn't like cockroaches at all. I couldn't do cockroaches, man. And nowadays I don't really care, actually. It's not so bad, but it may have stemmed from that moment, which is fucked up, because it goes to show like how many other fucking things are crawling on you when you're sleeping, especially in our room, man. We eat snacks and shit. We got fucking crumbs on the bed and crumbs on the floor and shit, man. I don't even fucking want to know what's crawling on me while I'm sleeping. They say that you eat 7 spiders or something in your lifetime, which I'm pretty sure on one of the recent episodes of FireCast we debunked. It's actually not true. But yeah, for paranormal stories, that's really all I got. I'm not really much of I believe in that 100%, and I always did, even before this stuff happened. My partner and her family are pretty spiritually in tuned and intuitive, so I believe in astrology, all that shit, for sure. But yeah, I definitely believe in energies, and I believe you can bring them upon yourself. So we cleanse the house often. We got, the Palo Santo, which honestly I don't know what it is. Holy wood. I don't know what makes it holy. I don't know where it comes from, what type of wood it is, but it fucking works. It's like sage, right? You burn it and you go around with the smoke and you cleanse all the corners of the house. Every time we feel a weird vibe, we, cleanse the motherfucker, and it feels better. At least for a couple days, Sometimes it only lasts a couple days before some more fucked up shit happens. And when you have kids, the kids make it fucking worse, man. Because your kids, they start saying shit, and they say weird shit. And like, they'll say things that don't make sense, that are kind of weird and scary. They say they see things, heard things. Who's this? Or fucking Freddy wants to play, and you're like, who's Freddy? Shit like that, they say fucked up things, but you also, they just got wild imaginations, and you don't know what the fuck's going through their head. So, but if you're prone to the spirits and the ghouls, be prepared to have your kids scare the shit out of you a lot more, because they fucking make it worse, for sure. But that's why you gotta just keep the Palo Santo handy, keep some fucking lavender, cleanse every now and then, keep some fucking incense burning. I don't think, things can only affect you that you let affect you. If you protect yourself, for holy golden light, surround yourself in your home, this stuff can't penetrate you. Life is all up here, What else is going on in my life, man? There was a few things I briefly had memorized, but the whiskey's making it all disintegrate. Yeah, the end of the year, man. It's Christmas. The time just fucking keeps on going. We're getting older. My daughter's growing up. And it never really slows down for anybody. And nothing really changes, does it? I was saying this today that kids, we went to the park today, and we'll, looking at all the graffiti on the playground equipment and shit. And it was saying stuff like, Liam is gay, or Joseph was here, shit like that. And it's like, that is the same shit we were writing, and it brought me a little joy to see that kids were still, calling another kid gay, it's still funny to kids, because the media has you believe that everything's so woke and everything's so different, and kids are shitting in litter boxes in the bathrooms. But when you go to the park and you see this graffiti, it shows you that, kids are still kids. Everything's, it's the same, but it's different. I was saying this to my missus, and she said, yeah, it's not really though. It's the same, but it's different. It's like 50-50. There will always be things that are the same. But I was of the belief that kind of stuff was gone out, that kids you can't call other kids gay, and that's, and of course we're a lot more open now, as we should be, right? There's nothing wrong with being gay, okay? But it's funny. You have to admit, it's funny. Calling someone gay is funny. It's just funny. Calling someone gay and they're not gay, it's funny, okay? There's nothing wrong with being gay. It's just funny, okay? You can't help what's funny. But it restores my faith in humanity a little bit. And I'm thinking, like, those things where it's like every generation feels negatively about the generation beneath them. That also shows you that life never really changes. I think we're going to be okay, right? Sometimes it might feel like everything's crumbling and collapsing, but life just stays the same. It's like a game or a TV show or something, and there's seasons. And there's different events, and they sprinkle in new crazy things. But overall, we're going through the same things, just in different ways, right? And like, people think, oh, kids are always on their phones, people have their head in their phones. But back in the day, they literally used to say the same things about books. They used to say the kids aren't spending time at the dinner table talking. They instead all got their head in a book. And now people say the same thing about phone. So it makes me feel a little bit better when you think of things like that. We're here for a reason, okay? Our soul, we chose to come to Earth. This is what I truly believe, okay? I think we choose to come here before we come here. We're in the other realm. We're some type of entity or form or energy, and we decide to come to Earth, have a human experience, and learn from it. Our soul grows, and we learn something from this experience. Whether you have a good life, a bad life, It's all the same. You're getting something out of it. You might choose to come here as a paraplegic, as whatever, homeless, or you might choose to come here as a rich influencer, right? To most people, it might seem like one's clearly the better option. But that influencer's hardships, whether they're first world problems or whatever, are still the same lessons to that homeless person. And you might have many lifetimes. And it might be a thing of where you come here as a homeless person, you do good, you are a good person, you try your best with your circumstances, and in the next life, you have a bit better circumstances. I don't know how I feel so much about that. I kind of feel more like it's like a... Yeah, I don't know, alright? I don't know if the way you live your life directly correlates to you having a better life the next time. I think you keep coming back until you learn the thing you're meant to learn. And your experience might push you in a way to try learn that. You get what I'm saying? So say you come in this life as a fucking Mongolian trying to break the fucking Great Wall. If you don't learn that lesson you're meant to learn, you might come back in the next life as a fucking rich TikTok influencer, trying to learn the same lesson in a different way. You know what I'm saying? I think you just keep coming back until you get what you were meant to get. So yeah, I don't, where was I going with this? I've lost my train of thought. But anyway, I don't know. The whiskey's getting to me. I lost what the fuck I was saying. But anyway, I think we're in good hands. All right, life. There might be different things and curveballs thrown at us and crazy shit going on, but I don't think it's ever gonna really end. You know, I think it just keeps going. I think the cavemen were here doing the same thing that we're trying to do here now. I think it's just a constant cycle, ebb and flow, and the souls and the people on earth are still trying to get the same thing out of it. I think we're in good hands. I think we're all part of a greater consciousness. We might be in a simulation. I think that's very possible as well. The scary thing about that one is it's more plausible that we're in a simulation than not. Because if you think about it, if you look at technology in the way it's going, right, eventually we will be able to create a simulation that's indistinguishable from real life. Okay? Say we live in that world and you decided to run 1 billion simultaneous simulations. The probability of you being in one of those simulations, the people you create being in one of those simulations, is very likely. It's almost impossible that they would be in the real one. So if there was some being or entity that was running countless simulations, the beings in those simulations would have a way greater chance of being in a simulation than being the original life. You get what I'm saying? So if you apply that to where we are and how we live now and how technology is going, it's pretty inevitable that we will create a simulation, and that it's highly likely we're probably in one and someone's already done that. There's countless people who are much smarter than me explaining that, if you don't know what I just said. But I don't think us being in a simulation really diminishes the spiritual things I just said and all that shit. I think that can still be true as well. I think it might be a simulation, but that doesn't change the fact that we're still part of that greater thing, you know. Or does it? You know, now that I'm thinking about it, if this were a simulation, how could we all just be part of that consciousness? If we'd be like Sims, right? It'd be like booting up the Sims or something. So I guess, because that kind of does fuck it up, doesn't it? Because if we're just digital, say it's a digital, like technology as we understand it, and it were just digital ones and zeros and pixels and shit, we're not really real. We don't really have a soul. But can souls be part of the simulation? I think I've spoken about this on FireCast a little bit before, but Bob Lazar If you don't know Bob Lazar, he was a whistleblower saying he was part of the the UFO programs and shit for the military. He was working in Area 51, and he said a lot of shit that ended up being proven true later. Right? He was claiming about this thing called Element 115, which they used to power the crafts. Element 115 at the time didn't exist, and now, only a couple of years, I think 2015 or something, it was discovered and proven to be true. Now there is Element 115. Shit like that. He has a lot of things that, line up in his story. And so he was saying the US government would back engineer these spacecrafts and shit. And he was saying that while he was working there at Area 51 or S4, there was a book that the aliens had on religion. It was a book about religion, and it was like this thick, just about religion. And in that book, it says that humans are containers. He doesn't elaborate further now. He doesn't really understand, but that's just what he said. He just said that's what it said. That's all he understands out of it. Humans are containers. That's how the aliens see us. They see us as containers. Maybe that means we're containers for souls, and like a farm or like a fruit, they have to grow a soul. The only way to grow a soul is through living beings on Earth. And maybe that's why they enhance our evolution and they helped us. Because there's also a jump in the size of the human brain within a certain amount of time that doesn't make sense, right, to people when they look at the fossil record. So maybe that's when the aliens came down, they found some lower hominids, they thought these guys could work, spliced our DNA with theirs, made us super intelligent, rapidly increased the rate at which we would evolve, so we get to this point, and they can harvest us for souls. Now maybe in the universe, Earth has a rare kind of position that can harbor life or something, and maybe that's what the aliens are watching over us. Maybe that's why they don't let us have nuclear war. Maybe they'll protect us, keep us from blowing each other up, because we are growing these souls that they are using for who knows what. Maybe it's like the Matrix, and they need souls for energy or something, right? It's possible. It's also possible that this is something like the Matrix and we're all living in our own. What if I'm the only real person and everyone else is an NPC in my world? Because I only know life from my experience. The only person I know who is for sure not an NPC is me. But to you, I'm an NPC, probably. You don't know if I'm real, Maybe I'm just a means for your entertainment in your world. Maybe this is only existing for you to watch, right? Maybe I'm not doing this of my volition, but it's for your entertainment, and it's what you're creating for your personal world. But anyway, the point I'm making is we could all be in that situation. We could all be living a personalized digital world so these aliens can harvest our souls. I don't know, but I hope you enjoyed my rambling. According to this, we're about to hit the hour mark. So minus a couple minutes for cat interruptions and whiskey refills and shit as I get to the bottom of this glass. I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you're well. FireCast will return as normal eventually. Thank you if you check this out, man. I appreciate it. I know it's not as entertaining just listening to me ramble for an hour, but I appreciate everyone who listens, everyone checks it out. Thank you for listening to the music, all that stuff. Life is good, man.